Today I want to go off on a little bit of a tangent. We're discussing Hilchot Shabbat, but I want to move to something else just for today. Tonight I have a wedding to give, to be part of, let's call it. And I want to discuss some laws of weddings. There's an interesting question when it comes to Shidduchim, which all the poskim discuss, and Chamavadi brings it as well. Many times it happens that a person is read a Shidduch with a kala or a chatan, depending if it's a boy or a girl, that the name of the chatan and the kala is the same name as the in-laws, as the future father-in-law or the future mother-in-law. Is that a problem halachically or not? Can one marry a girl, for example, that has the same name as his mother? Or can a girl marry a boy who has the same name as her father? Is this an issue? The truth is that it's brought down in the poskim in the name of a great rabbi from one of the Ashkenaz rabbis from way back, going back 800-900 years ago, a great rabbi called Rabbi Yehuda HaChassid. Rabbi Yehuda HaChassid wrote a special tzava'ah. Tzava'ah means a will. Before he died, he wrote a long will for his family and students that they should follow the instructions of the will and not deviate from those instructions. And one of the things he mentioned is you should not make sure that your children, whoever gets married, should not have the same name as your father-in-law or the mother-in-law. Mamash, this case. This is the first one who brings down such a halakha. Now, because he was such a great rabbi who wrote it, many other Sfarim also brought his words, and he ends off that if somebody does, if they do get married anyway, then what they should do is Yishaneh Shem Ha'ichad. They must change one of the names, which means either the one who just got married should change a name or add a name, and or the in-laws can change, or the mother-in-law or the father-in-law can change a name or add a name. Ulai Yesh Tikva. Those are his words. Maybe it will help out, which means he was very serious about it. He wrote that it's a big problem. Now many Sfarim bring this, and there's a big debate. What is the reason for this law? Where did this come from? What's the reason for this? Some poskim write the reason is because of ayin hara. It seems you bring in somebody into the family with the same name, it causes perhaps a little bit ayin hara. I'm not sure exactly from which side has the ayin hara, maybe both. And better to stay away from such things. That's one of the reasons. Another reason they give is, they bring from Reb Chaim Kanievsky, believe it or not. He says an interesting reason, because of tzniut. Imagine a person calls his wife to come into the room, and his mother-in-law is in the next room, she thinks he's calling her, and she walks into the room. So it's choser tzniut, he writes. Or the other way around. The wife is calling out to her husband, and then the father-in-law walks into the room, he thinks he's calling her. He thinks she's calling him. So that's choset tzniut, and therefore you should not have that. Another reason they give is, there's a rabbi called Zichron Yehuda. He has another interesting reason. It's called Kibud Av. Imagine, a person is very makpid not to call his father by his first name, right? We're all makpid on that. You don't call your father by the first name.
My name is Abba. So, my Hebrew name is Abba. So my children call me Abba. But Rav Avad Yosef said that it was fine.
Yes, that's also an interesting case. When a person's name is Abba, it's true. It's not so common, but the Gemara it brings down. Yeah, that's true. So it's the same concept. Imagine calling your wife her name, for example, Rachel, and your mother's Rachel. It's not respectful to call your mother her first name. So this is another reason brought down another reason for Rabbi Yehuda HaChassid why a person should not get married to someone who has the same name of his parents. However, L'ma'aseh, Halakha L'ma'aseh, Chamavadi discusses this at length, and he brings all the poskim back and forth, and it's a big machlok. At the end of the day, Chamavadi says that I just want to read you his words. He says, if the one that's being read to him, which means if the shidduch is a good shidduch, he should not push off. You should not push off the shidduch because of that. Rather, you should get married. But nachon, it's better to be choshesh and to try to change or add something, add a little bit of a name, change the name at least 30 days before the wedding, and this way it takes effect, and this way you get out of the problem. It's something to think about. It's something to be careful. I'm just mentioning this, so it's important. A person should be careful if this happens, that he should try to do something, change the name or not. Another example they give is not that the name of the wife or husband has the same name as your parents. Rather, the names of the in-laws are the same. Which means a person marries a woman, and her mother's name is Rachel, and his mother's name is Rachel. Not that the names of the Chatan and Kala are the same. Rather, the names of the Mechutanim, the names of the in-laws are the same. Is that a problem? And there again, the Yehuda HaChassid writes, one should not get married if that shidduch has the same, if the two in-laws have the same name. Either the fathers have the same name or the mothers have the same name. Again, the Yehuda HaChassid said it's also a problem. But here Chamavad is a little more mekel, and he says because they found in the Gemara many proofs that that's not a problem. And here he's more mekel, he says you're allowed to do that. I just want to mention, there was once, I had a personal story with this, that I have a sister who didn't have children for a couple of years, 5 or 6 years, and my father went to Israel one time and he visited Reb Chaim Kanievsky and he asked for a beracha. Reb Chaim asked him, "Did you tell me the names? The names of the chatan, of the husband and the wife and the parents?" So he wrote the parents, and it comes out that the names of my mother, my sister's mother, and the name of her husband were the same name. It was Leah. The names of the mothers were the same. So Reb Chaim Kanievsky told my father, "You have to change the name. This is probably what's bothering it. You have to change the name." So my father asked him, "Yeah, the truth is, the mother-in-law, her name is not only Leah, her name is also Leah Sarah. So is that enough? It's not exactly the same name." So Reb Chaim said, "Look, what do they call the mother-in-law? What do they call her? Do they call her Leah? Do they call her Leah Sarah?" So he said, my father told him they call her only Leah. Then it's a problem. What they need to do is they have to start calling her Leah Sarah or Sarah. They have to start calling her a different name. My father didn't know what to do because he knew this discussion, and he knew that Chamavad was Mekel, most of my Mekel for Sfaradim especially, and so he didn't know what to do. And he went over to someone who knows about these things, a Mekubal. He went up to Rabbi Yaakov Hillel and he asked him, "Should I be choshesh for Reb Chaim Kanievsky? He's telling me." So Rabbi Yaakov Hillel told him like this. He said, "You're right. Perhaps according to Sfaradim, you don't have to be machmir. It's okay. But when Reb Chaim Kanievsky tells you something, you got to listen." And finish. When Adam Kadosh tells you something, you got to listen. So okay, they got the hora'ah, they have to listen. So that my mother made up with the mother-in-law. They called up and they told her what happened, and the mother-in-law said, "Okay, it's fine. So we'll start calling me Leah Sarah." So my mother made a custom from then on. She made up with the mother-in-law. We're going to call every Friday, and we're going to say Shabbat Shalom Leah Sarah. That's how we're going to make the take effect. 4 weeks later, my sister was pregnant. I'm telling you, Ma'aseh Shahaya. Again, what do you take out of the story? Number one, of Chaim Kanievsky is a Gadol Hador. But number two, halachically, it's not a problem, but it's better. It's better. There's an inyan. It's not something to throw out. It's something to think about. And if it happens, a person should be Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.